You feel me? I'm gonna just say this too real quick. There's no such thing as an algorithm. The algorithm is a bitch, an engineer. You know what I'm saying? Just got because they got millions of profiles. They have been cited you at one point. Like, okay, this person controversial. They decide when they want your shit to show and when they don't. You feel me? You pop up when you're online. They got plenty of engineers. They bump up, block this nigga. Nope, nope, nope. This shit won't get out, nigga. You can forget about it. Sometimes the shit don't even load. Like depending on what you say, it won't even load. I don't say some raw topics and have some topics, and it won't even upload. You feel me? So it's just speaking of it, not an other video upload, but it be something else. But let me go ahead and put this out. This one gonna be about the black church churches period, but I'm gonna transition into the black church. So like I was saying, churches don't pay no taxes. A lot of these pastors these days, man, they don't speak with not only conviction, but they be so crooked, and it's like being one thing I've learned that Georgia has taught me is it's so funny because we used to joke about it back home where my pastor at this church that I was devoted to for many years, about a good 4 years straight, out of the most pivotal point of my life after experiencing homelessness as a teenager. Um, my pastor was from Georgia, so they used to do like these Georgia trips where his church at his hometown in Georgia would come down, and then our church will go up there. Now I never had no money for that, so I never participated in that. But point is, I went thinking back to all the pastors that I had, even as a child going to church with my auntie. God bless dead, Pastor Jimmy Smith, all that, Shiloh missionary. He was from Georgia. And I'm like, God damn, every pastor that I could think that I ever had was from Georgia. It's just like South Florida pushes out all the NFL players. Georgia pushes out all the pastors. It's almost like a rite of passage. And when you pushing out that quantity of pastors, not everybody gonna be legit. This shit is like a business here. It really is. Like, I watch a church all the time, and I see a lady come to damn church every day for 14 hours. It's like she lived there. And I said, oh my God. I've never seen, bro, only in Georgia can you see people of the congregation with the big boy rims, and I'm into the cars and all that stuff. Like shit, that'd be a Rick Ross show. And they part of the actual daily congregation. And you like, oh, this is business. I just seen something the other day talk about teaching Bible study for $20 an hour. And I was like, I would do it for free. But the only way I do it for free is if you let me say what I'm gonna say. Because my opinion is not gonna be just off of what you want me to teach. I'm gonna be teaching about how the Nile River. I'm gonna teach geography with my Bible study. You can't just tell me to read the Bible and don't want to talk about the actual location where it's taking place. I think that's very, very pertinent. Teaching location and geography. Back in the days, the Bible used to have a map in the back showing you the places where these events took place. They don't teach that no more. They just teach you blindly the Bible. And then I went to looking at this Kenneth Copeland thing, and I was like, man, I got it started to get me a little pissed because I remember around the time when churches really started to get greedy. And I was 17 years old and I ain't have money like that when I be in church because I was going by myself. I couldn't get my parents to come, none of that. It was me going. So I ain't have money like that. So when it's time for the offering, my slick self used to get up and go use the bathroom. This before they caught on to it. And then I was watching the white guy say yesterday, he was like, they be locking the doors now. I ain't been to church in a hot minute. They lock the doors. They make sure they don't even let you know. No, ain't no going to pee. You finna get his money. And I remember back in the days when they'll have an offering and then they don't like what they get in the offering. They say, y'all can do better than that. They'll shame you. And you thinking, okay, and this is my ultimate point. I'm going to cut to the point where I was telling my homeboy yesterday. I always was of the mindset that I remember this poor lady, she was the usher, right? And I rode a church van. So the usher, we had to go pick up. This lady was poor. This lady, she was writing tithes. And I remember I seen them bust that tithes down at one time in the office. They let you put in the envelope, then as soon as they get in the back in that office, they rip that junk right open. And this lady sold $20, and mind you, she put money in the offering, and she sold her so-called seed. And freaking this lady was dirt poor. And I said to myself, why don't they just do one collection? Like, let's say they'll tell you what they raised. Let's just say they raised $700. How about you turn that back and give it back to Sister Jenkins? Hey, well, this $700 for you to pay your rent this month, Sister Jenkins. That's how church supposed to work. It's supposed to be a union. Like the way, you know how a union works and why Walmart never liked the unions and stuff? It's because a bunch of people with little money can put all their money together to have big money. It ain't for the pastor to say, oh, I'm finna make this personal profit, then I'm gonna start me a daycare. I'm gonna start. That's your personal profit, fam. Oh, almost like I was telling this lady, this older lady, one of my neighbors, we kind of had fell out about the situation. Cause she's like, oh, these pastors, they be looking at. She said, they got a pastor, he be renting out houses. I said, look what you just said, rent out houses. Rent mean you never gonna own it. So rent mean that he's gonna keep getting a profit out. How about you set up a congregation where everybody in my congregation get a house? Everybody in my congregation, if I don't want you to own it, then you ain't finna pay no rent then. That's how it's gonna be. How about we start an apartment complex where we all getting this money? We gotta modernize the church. The church gotta be, not only as we loving our God, but it gotta make sense financially. You can't just be coming here paying for hope. That's what it is. And people ain't selling dope, they selling hope. Because I gotta give you hope. When I put this money that we just made in the congregation, I surprise somebody every week with it, then I'm gonna be doing numbers. So I told my homeboy, I said, bro, I'm of the mindset that before I ever go back to any church, I'm gonna start my own set. And why? Because I got inspired looking at Johnny Harris was talking about Mormons, and he talked about, yeah, y'all tune out on that, because I'm starting my own set. Look at all this stuff we got in America: Episcopal, Pentecostal, evangelical, all these different sets from different men. When they came to America, you got Protestants. You got to understand, when people came to America, everybody was spread out. So they was teaching the word of God, and they was teaching it from their understanding, their discernment, their interpretation. And I've read the Bible multiple times, 3 times to be exact. And it's funny because most people ain't never read it once, but they'll judge all day and all night and be like, oh, he's talking blasphemy. You ain't never read the Bible up and down. Matter of fact, let me read some of these comments. Hey, religion is humanity's best invention. Shout out to humanity's best invention because it's called cultural relativism. If you know about humanities, I took that in college. Cultural relativism, people natural instinct to want to relate, to try to ask why, because that's junk will drive you crazy. Why am I here? It's finding a sense of purpose, right? Why does God need your money or anyone's money? That's my point. Seems like you know these people a lot. Maybe you need to be the change you want to see. You love. Somebody can't text. Somebody tried to be slick and can't even text with a typo. And then I'm gonna address Connor Damus. He said, seems like I know these people a lot. I know people from a distance. I don't know Kenneth Copeland. If I knew Kenneth Copeland, you think I'd be on here right now, fam? Are you kidding me? I'd be riding around in the jet. The main function of the church is to keep the community docile, ignorant, and poor. Money is the main motivation in a capitalist society. The church is no way immune from it. Now, Pete the play. Watch this, right? And I'm gonna address that. Let's read it again. The main function of the church is to keep the community docile, ignorant, and poor. Money is the main motivation. I'm gonna push back on that in the sense that I don't think the church's intent is to keep them poor. I think like it goes back to what God said. People taking it and turning it into a house of profit. A man, like what Jesus said, when Jesus walked the earth, he said he looked and seen what was going on. And mind you, let's do something. This is what I'm gonna be teaching if I was to start my church. That's why I say I'm gonna actually talk geography. When Jesus was talking about use mythical people, he was talking about the Romans. He was talking about Roman Catholic and what eventually became Roman Catholic. He was saying you mythical people with all these gods, Neptune, Venus, Zeus. This is how you tie world history into it. And these people was powerful. This is the Roman Empire. See, if people get to look at it like that, they'll be like, oh, Jesus was around the earth then, because we like to think it was millions of years ago. Nah, he was walking the earth. So we're our ancestors. You got people of the David who from the Bible, Selassie, Haile Selassie was the actual bloodline from Ethiopia of David. But then if you start associating people with the Bible from Ethiopia, and that's right in the middle of Africa, oh my God, I mean the Bible took place in Africa. Then you F up a whole lot of people world. And that's the first thing how you can really tell. In order for religion to really make sense, we all gotta have one understanding. I don't know how people can read the Bible, read about his nappy hair, read about his bronze skin. You gonna get a penny right now, hold it up to the phone. I cut the light on, it's gonna match my exact skin. You gonna look at this thick nappy hair. Ain't no natural anybody that's not this brand walk around with this hair. But people love to ignore that, and they get to church and you see a blue-eyed blonde Jesus. How in the hell? Just tell me. I don't even mind that he got blonde hair and blue eyes, but just show me scripture where it say blonde hair, blue eyes. With I don't want to like sound like I'm disrespecting white people. Let's just call it non-pigmented skin or whatever, however you want to put it. Or non-melanin skin. Let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? You're spiraling. No, buddy. You already came to talk your crowd. The money is just paper. It's an illusion. You came to talk your crowd and divert me. I'm gonna spiral however I want to spiral, my brother, because the church is spiraling. You did. So with that said,